everybody. If you're watching the replay, as always, put a hashtag below replay. Let me know that you're watching, who you are, where you're watching from, where you are on your keto journey. As always, it is Thursday morning, 9 a.m. EST, and we're doing our Teaching Thursday. If this is your first time watching, you don't know who I am. I'm Yvonne from my keto classroom. I do Teaching Thursday every day. Hi, good morning. And today we're going to talk about building a good foundation for keto. So if you have any questions throughout this, just ask away. If I happen to miss them, I will answer after I go off live. But let's get rolling. So, when you start keto, the first thing that I want you to do is consult with your doctor, especially if you haven't gone in a while. Because I hear so many times people saying, well, now that I started keto, my cholesterol has gone up, or other things. But then when you dig deeper, you ask, well, when was the last time you had it checked? And you hear an answer like, well, 5 years ago. So you can't really say it was keto then because you don't have anything to compare it to. So if you have any health concerns, especially before you start keto, talk to your doctor. Now, the tip I can give you about talking to your doctor, because a lot of them, they've been a doctor for 20, 30, 40 years, they are not as educated on keto as it would be nice if they were. So instead of saying, well, I'm going to do keto, what do you think? Give them kind of an idea of what your everyday is going to be like. Go in and say, okay, so I'm planning in the morning, I'm going to have 2 eggs and 2 slices of bacon. Then for lunch, I'm going to have a salad with breast of chicken. And for dinner, I'm going to have a steak and broccoli. And that's what my typical day will look like. How do you feel about that? So that will give them a better idea of, they can give you better advice because they actually know what you're planning on doing. And as you may know, people do keto a whole bunch of different ways. So just by going in and saying, hey, I'm going to do keto, they can't really give you the advice that you're looking for. So we want to give them as much information as we can when we talk to the doctor. The next thing that I want to talk about when building a keto foundation is your mindset. Motivation will only get you so far. When things get rough, that's the time when you can't find the motivation to keep going. So you want to build your solid foundation for a mindset, and with that, you need to develop or think about what your why for doing that is. And you want to dig really deep, not just because I want to lose weight. Well, why do you want to lose weight, for example? Is it because, you want to be more confident about the way you look? Because you want to look great on your wedding? Because you want more energy? And just, peel back the layers of the onion, as, the saying goes. So keep digging deep on why. For example, if it is you want to look great in pictures, why do you want to look great in pictures? Keep going as deep as you can on your why, and write that down so you have it when you're feeling weak, when you're thinking, this keto thing really isn't working, when you're struggling, so you have something to keep you going. The next big thing that I think is important when you start keto is to have a plan. Plan out your week. It goes more deeper than just meal planning. You want to look into, is my nephew's birthday coming up this Saturday, and all they're going to serve is pizza and cupcakes? Or do I have a work function where there's likely not going to be any keto-friendly foods? Things such as that, not just, around what are you going to get at the grocery store, what are you going to cook at home, but what does your whole week look like? And, make a plan of how you're going to handle those situations. And even look into things that might stress you, where you may get into stress eating. Then, when we have built this foundation, when we have gotten into the habit of having a great mindset, of having our why, of having talked to our doctor, then it's time to finally get started with keto. So you want to start by cleaning out the pantry, getting those temptations out of your house. Go through what you have there, read the labels, look at both ingredients and nutritional values on those labels. Now, if I know a lot of us, we have family, and you may not want to start the whole family on keto right away. If you do, that's great. You're have a leg up, because you can just get out all those things out of your pantry. But for example, I allow my kids some treats that are not keto friendly, but when I do go grocery shopping, it's those treats that won't tempt me that they get to have. So that's just, as much temptation as you can get out of the house, the better. So now you've cleaned out your pantry, you've stocked up on whole foods, fresh foods, meats, and other keto-friendly foods. Now you want to start your everyday. You want to drink enough water. It's extremely important, especially when you first start out on keto. Because of the detoxing your body is doing, you will have to go to the bathroom more often. You will excrete more water. You will also lose more electrolytes, and especially sodium, magnesium, and potassium. So you want to make sure that you constantly replenish those. You can take supplements, but I am a big advocate of trying to get most of that in naturally. So you want to add more pink Himalayan salt. You want to eat vegetables that are high in magnesium and potassium, such as avocados or spinach or other things that you like. Keto is very flexible on what you can do, and it doesn't have to be complicated, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I have it on my list here. So, with keto, the easiest way is, to get started is to cut sugar and carbs. That is added sugar and carbs, because things have natural sugars, and there's no way to completely avoid those natural sugars. Yes, you still want to limit them, because they are carbs. Carbs are fiber and starches and sugars. So, your vegetables are going to have carbs. There's no way around that. But most of us on keto, we track net carbs, which means it's your total carbs, subtract out the fibers and the sugar alcohols. So if your vegetables, although they do have maybe lots of total carbs, a lot of that will be fibers, which you get to subtract out, so your net carbs will be lower. Let's see, where was I? Lost my train of thought, sorry. You don't want to make it complicated. You don't have to make it complicated. I know a lot of you guys that are watching, you're moms, you have a family, and you're thinking, well, I don't have time to cook two completely different meals. I can't do this because it's too much work involved, too much extra stuff. And that's not true. You don't have to make it complicated. Your dinner, for example, could easily be steak and cheesy broccoli. Just, skip the starchy side, skip the pasta, skip the rice, skip the potato. And if you want to make that for the rest of your family, that's fine. You don't have to onboard them all at once. Or you don't have to onboard them at all. There's plenty of meals I make that are completely keto. But, for example, last night I had zoodles, which are zucchini noodles, and tomato sauce. And because I felt like it, I made them a dish of penne pasta to have with their sauce. Now, like I said, a lot of times they have a complete keto meal, but, you know, they, last time we had zoodles, they acted like I was trying to murder them. So that's not a favorite of them. They don't like my zoodles, so I don't force that on them. It's still a process getting them full on keto, and I'm working on it, but I want them to cooperate with me as much as possible, so I let them have some carbs every once in a while. But another meal you could easily have, you could have grilled chicken with a salad, or you could have salmon on a bed of creamed spinach. It does not have to be complicated. You don't have to find all new recipes. There is so much you can eat and so many new things you can discover. I talk about this all the time. I try to incorporate a new food that I never enjoyed before keto, just to keep it interesting and to see what else I like. I discovered jicama fries, and both my family and I absolutely loved them. They're fantastic. If you haven't had them, that's one of the things you have to try. I've tried so many different ways to eat avocado, and it's become something I really enjoy. I never was a fan of guacamole, and I still don't like it, but there's so many different ways you can enjoy an avocado, for example. So, experiment with the foods that are great on keto. Especially for newbies, what I always advise is to stay away from food that is marketed as keto or low carb. It, a lot of times, contains hidden carbs and hidden things that you do not want. They can be incredibly deceptive because as of right now, there is no regulation out there on who can put keto friendly on their food, on what is considered keto friendly. So pretty much anybody can put low carb or keto friendly on there. There is no guidelines of what any of those actually mean in marketing terms. So I know that they are easy. And if you do decide to use them in your diet, just make sure to read the nutritional information, read the ingredients. Just don't take their word for it. Just because it says it on the packaging doesn't mean it's true, unfortunately. Hopefully the FDA will get to a point where they will say, okay, low carb means it's whatever amount of carbs per serving, and not just, it's low carb. And that leads me right into our last point of discussion, which is dirty keto. If you're starting out keto, I highly recommend against, going in and saying, oh, I'm just going to do dirty keto. I know most of us kind of slip into that dirty keto every once in a while, and that's fine. If you have something once or twice that is considered dirty keto, that's fine, but try to stay clean keto as much as you can. Your health will thank you for it, and your weight loss will be a lot faster. And, keto is not a diet. A lot of people think about it as a diet, but it really is a lifestyle. And that's what, in the long run will make it sustainable, is building those habits. Building that solid foundation I talked about at the beginning. It's not just something yes, it might start out as something that, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and then I'm going to go back to whatever you're doing before keto. But usually, most of us, once we've done it 6 months, and the more we learn about it and the benefits for our health and other things, we kind of stick with it. I mean, I've been doing keto so long, and I don't do it for weight loss anymore. I'm on now what's called keto maintenance, which means I've upped my calories and I don't lose weight. I mean, every once in a while I lose a pound or two, but then usually it goes back up. So, I stay pretty much around the same weight. And I do it for my health. I do it for the energy it gives me, and to set an example for my children. And like I've mentioned earlier, long term, my goal is to get them full on keto. But it is a process for sure, because I didn't, start them when they were super young. Now, my youngest one, he's actually, I call him my keto buddy all the time, because when I ask him what he wants to do for lunch, he picks the keto stuff. So that is my small little victory, that my youngest one is full on in favor of keto. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, if there's anything I didn't go as deep into as you would have liked, just, let me know, and I will answer your questions either, through a comment, depending on how quick I can answer that question, or I will address it next Thursday in the Teaching Thursday. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.